up game. As luckily we do have all 5 in for both teams. No Tarek dropping this time. Important knife round. Obviously CT-sided map, but it's not like it's Train. It's not like it's Nuke.
Yeah, I mean, this is somewhat one of the more balanced maps in the rotation. Like you said, not a Nuke, not a Train, not an Overpass. But
then again, it's not a Dust or a Cache either. It's kind of more in between those two polar opposites, we'll say.
Yeah, I mean, really the only map that gets played competitively that isn't CT-sided is probably Season. That's probably the only map that I could actually kind of argue that it's slightly T-favored. But pretty much every other map is slightly CT-favored at the very least, if not heavily CT-favored, like a Nuke or an Overpass. And
yeah, Overpass especially, absolutely.
Yeah, I would say Nuke is definitely the most CT-sided map, but Overpass is, you know, probably second on the list. But obviously, there's been a lot of debate about this, and it's really because the game itself is CT-sided, and for a lot of reasons, like, you know, smokes, the fact that flashes from the terrace side aren't as effective as they used to be in previous iterations of the game, the length of smokes and how big they are. Peeker's advantage, which, yeah, you would say favors terrace, but not on post-plant situations and retakes, then all of a sudden Peeker's advantage flips to the CT side late round. So there's so many reasons why it's a CT-sided game, but, you know, this map is, you know, also CT-sided in its own right for the most part, which is sad because this map used to be the most balanced map in the game back in, like, 1.6 days and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see where patches take us, but in the meantime, we do have C9 starting out on the T side. They're creeping into the apartments. Look like they want to split the A site, and CLG knows this. They push Finesse all the way down Banana to mid. He's going to be on a flank here, and look at this, man. They're playing so well in this pit area. This looks really, really good for CLG. Shazam trying to bring it back here, but CLG just on top of it. Hayes playing so patient in the pit. They still don't even know where he is, and he's just stepping out, collecting frags left and right, and Shazam is now left all alone in a 1 versus 4. Gets a couple of kills there, but not going to win the round, though he did get a bomb plant, so that helps out at least.
Yeah, they'll be, I mean, assuming they decide to, you know, not spend a bunch of money this next round, they will be able to buy on the third. But, you know, with Cloud9, it's one of those things you can never really not count on them force buying. It almost got to become a cliche with them, whereas, like, regardless of what happened, they were going to buy. But I think off that plant, they're going to be smart here. They're going to save and potentially
they're more
buy in the third round.
of a team to force buy on CT side than T side. Like, especially second round. So.
And that's obviously the smarter side to do it on because, you know, you have the positional advantage. They've got to come to you. So we see Counter Logic Gaming buying up pretty heavily, going with the M4 and FAMASs across the board. But that's smart given the fact that C9 to get the plant, they won't have to upgrade their guns, assuming they handle their business here in this round.
Exactly. They know that the buy's coming in next round from C9, so they go ahead and get the FAMASs. You don't want to get caught with an SMG up against AKs in round number 3. So this is definitely the correct play here from CLG in the most common way you see things happen. But we will see what Cloud9 wants to do. They do actually have a smoke on Simpus and a couple of flashes between Sean and Nothing, so they could try to do some type of explosion here and maybe hope to maybe get another plant. But there are 2 guys kind of playing towards this truck side, so not going to be easy here as they come up to brackets.
Oh! Yeah. Oh, Shroud hits the 1-dig on Tarek, just explodes his face like a pumpkin. Unfortunately, that smoke was bad. I think they were trying to smoke off Arch side, but it just got caught on the ledge. They've drawn a bit of a rotate from B. That's FNS who moved over into CT spawn as they come storming up Banana. So a lot of onus is on Cutler here to hold fast, and he goes down immediately to the deagle of Cutler. FNS is going to have to step out, but he's only able to grab one before they ultimately get control of the site and get the bomb planted, Dust.
Yeah, this is tough here. Shroud looking to deliver some more pain with this deagle, and we'll talk about this round in a minute, depending on how it finishes off, as we are going to see, you know, Shazam actually does have that FAMAS hiding out in construction, and Peter does get killed, but look at this flank from Shazam, able to come in, grabs the kill onto Hayes, and now it's all up to Peter in a 1 versus 2. The bomb's been ticking for quite a long time, so not looking good for him, but he does get the kill on the Shroud, going to re-pick up an M4, but he is definitely not going to be able to win a round, and Shazam's actually going to get chase here and gets the kill, and that is crucial for CLG. You can't lose rounds like that. It's one thing to lose second round to a team that's buying up, you know, CZs and scouts and 5.7s and armor and upgraded pistols and all that mess, but it's a completely other story for you to drop to a team that pretty much invested nothing into that second round because
maybe 300 to 500 apiece.
Yeah,
they got some pistols. That's it.
And now you have to double save with that CLG, and now
actually they're going with the pistol armor. Check it out.
True, but
Counter logic,
they're not getting rifles this round or next round is the point. So this is a great chance for Cloud9 to go up 3-1 unless CLG can deal the same business that Cloud9 just gave to them in the last round.
Yeah, it really is. And a similar start to what we saw in the previous match, although kind of mirrored, as it was actually, I think Torque won the pistol round and Counter Logic Gaming came up with the Eco in the second. So now getting a little taste of their own medicine against Cloud9. As you see, basically a 2-1-2 setup for the terrorists, just kind of feeling out as we might have an engagement here in apartments. Peter forced out of his position in dark by that molly, and he's brought down a 20 HP. That's a good play to get him out.
I don't see shotgun versus shotgun very often. That was kind of funny.
It's surprising nobody died from that range either, although Peter taking the brunt of the blow, down to 20, although Sean Garrett's down to 38.
Yeah, they both ate a little bit there, but regardless, you know, YRC and Cloud9 start to gather up over here at B. Once again, they're setting up their smokes at CT spawn on Shazam. And they only have one guy there inside that B bomb site, so they definitely played this rotation right, and they're going to have themselves a great chance to execute here at B and get this bomb down and get it planted unless Finesse can come up absolutely huge. And he does have a 5-7. We'll see. He's kind of playing into flames. He steps out to try to prevent the bomb plant, but doesn't get it. Does some damage, though, so we'll see if the retake can happen here from CLG. But so far, they're kind of smoked out and blocked off, and you see Tarek actually already is bailed, and so has...
yeah, they're all backing off for the full save. That was really well-timed smokes once they took the site by Cloud9. They had Garden smoked off. You know, I think Finesse was actually in position to rotate there, but with CT and Garden both being smoked off, they backed off. They're going to hang on to this investment that they made, which is obviously the smart play in this situation. Yeah,
because they're going to get another chance like they did, like even though they're going to have to save next round, because like I said, when you win first, lose second, that's pretty much an auto double save or auto double broken by, whatever you want to call it, depending on how you decide to spend your money. At least they have, you know, 3 guys who saved head armor. They still have that Mag 7. They still have, you know, some upgraded pistols, so they can still pose somewhat of a threat in this round. But of course, C9 definitely still has the clear advantage. Really good chance to go ahead and get that 3-1 lead after getting that second round eco like we talked about. So yeah, I mean, this is just CLG really paying a big price for succumbing to a C9 team in that second round that really had invested nothing into it. It's very surprising they gave that up.
Yeah, really just momentary lapse in gameplay, I guess is what we'll call it, as it has given Cloud9 the upper hand.
Well, it was just some crazy shots. I mean, Shot had a crazy 1D.
That Deagle to open up the red, and it was off of a bad smoke too, because it looked like they were trying to smoke off arches and wrap A, and the smoke actually smoked them off, and Shroud still hits the 1D open.
And then Shazam hit a crazy like one tap with the 250 at Banana like right afterwards to really kind of capitalize on the round. So it wasn't all CLG making mistakes. It was some crazy circus shots from some of those C9 players as well that kind of played into it, which you can't really count on. But yeah, we are going to see Cloud9 start to gather up at brackets and once again look to push into the save bomb site.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. We saw Sean Garrett coming out of balcony as the entry man with the sawed-off. But it looks like they are going to reverse field and try to go back down mid, but Tarek steps up and drops Semphis from behind with his P250, and they didn't over-rotate. They still have the 2-2 set up, so Peter is in great position to hold off this rush if he doesn't peek. Let's see what he does here. He's got the perfect gun for it! The 2-for-1 deal tries to hit the third, but can't get the shot. But Cutler is in great position to hold off until his teammates arrive. Shazam is going to have to come up with some magic. He's going to drop Cutler, but ultimately shot from behind by Tarek. And really nice play there by Peter. Perfect position and good patience by CLG not to over-rotate there.
And of course, Peter came up great with that 2-for-1 Mag 7 kill, no doubt about that, up close on Banana. But that round really gets awarded to Tarek. I mean, he got the initial pick on a player there at balcony for the first 2P250 kill he got, and then he actually chased a guy down, truck back to mid, got a second kill, and not only that, got the information that Cloud9 had fallen back and were totally committed to rushing back towards B, which allowed Peter to get into that position with the Mag 7 and to deal that play. So that really is, you know, good job by Tarek to get those 2 kills and to get the information that CLG needed to put that Mag 7 in the perfect spot to counter it. So yeah, great play by Peter, but also great job by Tarek and good thought processes from CLG as well. And so now we finally have ourselves an even gun round, but after quite a crazy journey to get here.
Oh, nothing, and Semphis combined to get clean entry into the site. Oh, as soon as I say that, Cutler comes in on the rotate, as does Finesse. As they bring it down to a 2-on-1, and it's Shroud stuck, or actually Shazam stuck on the site with the op. Steps down, picks up Cutler, but not quick enough to drop Finesse. He will get the frag, and it's a close one going the way of CLG.
Yeah, I mean, Cloud9 doing a great job to get some initial entries and stuff like that. But, I mean, the biggest things I've actually been noticing is Finesse has been so quick to flank Banana behind them at mid. This happened on the pistol round that CLG won, and it happened right there as well. So that's like twice out of 5 rounds where Cloud9's... Well, I guess they've only executed A, actually, 3 times this game, and twice Finesse has been on such a quick flank to punish them when they're not even really reading on it. So, I mean, that's something they need to watch out for. They got to watch out for that flank a little bit better.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's a couple times he's gotten into that rotation position. Actually, there was another round that they ultimately lost where he was in good position but got smoked off and was forced to save. As you see, C9 looks like they're vying for a B play here, but they are on basically the full save. Just some pistol upgrades across the board. Shazam going with the Rec 9, and nothing with a single smoke, which I assume is going to be for CT as they make a play at B.
Yeah, it could be. It's already been smoked off once, but they definitely could re-smoke it again here after this smoke clears in front of them to go ahead and hit B. That seems to be what they're going to do. But, you know, Shazam's already in quite a lot of damage, and we already have 2 guys, you know, pretty committed to B. So this isn't going to be the easiest take, but, you know, C9 don't have much of a choice here on this save round. But really both teams' economies are kind of tough here, but we'll see how things play out as they're going to just run into a blender. Finesse and Cutler just spraying down the smoke, catching all the kills here. And it is going to be Finesse coming up with the quad kill to win the round, but... certainly just kind of expected, you know, C9 committing, you know, pretty much didn't have a choice but to commit that way. They didn't have any real nades to work with, so you just got to kind of bunch up and hope for the best. But they do get caught, but we are going to see a full buy coming in here. But, I mean, God, like, they're all bought down to $0 except Sean with $50, so this is definitely, like, do or die for them. At the same token, CLGs would likely have to save if they lost here, too. So, really, this is a round that's really worth 2 for either team who takes it. So this could be a 4-4 or 6-2 real quick.
Yeah, we've seen C9 take these calculated gambles, and they can pay off big, and they can crash and burn. We'll see what happens here, as it looks like CLG is actually going to play a little aggressive here in Banana. FNS steps up and drops nothing before being traded out by Shazam, which obviously forces Tarek to fall off. It's going to call in the rotate from Cutler, although it looks like he's thinking better and moving back towards the arch side. So this is going to favor Cloud9 somewhat as it splits up the defense of CLG.
Yeah, and CLG's been so great at B the majority of this game, whether it be, you know, aggression like that or whether it just be Finesse's quick flanks through Banana. The only time they've really suffered at B is that one round Finesse got caught there by himself, but that was on a save round. So otherwise, they've been really good about, you know, not allowing C9 to manipulate the whole map and get, you know, intel everywhere. And so that's certainly a good job there by CLG to put pressure in places and, you know, force C9 to respect them and not to just take map control for free. But it has evened up to a 4 versus 4, so it's still really anyone's round. And once again, they're kind of gathering up here for Banana, but they're not going to get that rotation they want. And we have seen a guy already backtrack back to B, so there's going to be those 2 guys there once again. But it's still going to be a 4-on-2 take, and that rotation is really long because they're both in pit.
Yeah,
so this could be really tough for CLG, actually, if this take does actually work.
And that's the thing. They haven't. Now they start moving. As Cutler's going to step out through the smoke. He's going to find one as Tarek gets another. Shazam coming into the site, trying to find Tarek behind Nubox, and he's going to close it off. A nice 3K by Tarek on the hold, and that's a crucial, crippling gun round win for CLG as Cloud9 is going to have to save after that. Remember, you mentioned they bought down to, I think, just $50 when that round started.
Team total, they had $50 after they bought out that round. So, yeah, even with, like, you know, the loss bonus kind of swinging in their favor here, that's still not enough to do anything with. But, I mean, yeah, that round could have really gone either way because it was a 4-on-2 take at B. And if Cloud9 could have gotten the entries there, then they probably would have won the round because that rotation was so long because both CLG players at B were in pit, or A were in pit. But, you know, Tarek came up big with, I think, you know, 3 kills there, and that pretty much shut everything down for C9. And like I said, no team really had a great economy in that last round, so the loser was going to have to save either way, and it winds up being C9 that has to save. And so now CLG has a real chance to kind of start building up their economy. You already see they have quite a lot on their players, even while they have guns. So they're actually now in a pretty comfortable position economically, and on the scoreboard, they're doing fine as well.
Yeah, you actually see a quick little frag there onto Tarek. I think that was Shazam picking it up with the pistol. As it was initially a double op look for CLG, and it looks like Shazam was able to pick that op up from Tarek. So that's a pretty huge opening engagement for Cloud9 to give themselves a little bit of leverage going into the rest of this round. They got 40 seconds on the clock, and it's definitely going to be a play at A. It's going to be up to Hayes and FNS to hold this off. FNS stepping out from pit behind the truck, trying to find Shroud over at porches. Looks like Symph is just biding his time up top in the balcony. Finally comes out and picks up the frag on the f&s. They've got control of the A site. Meanwhile, Peter has rotated into library, but the slow rotate by Cutler, I think they're going to back off and save here, Dust. Actually,
yeah,
no.
This is...
Ooh. Perhaps they should have.
Yeah, you got to make a decision here. You can't half-ass a save or you know, go for it. You just got to pick one and stick with it, so to speak. And so giving up that last kill of Shazam there was really unnecessary. That's the difference between saving 1 gun and 2 guns. Now, granted, their economy's still all right, so they're still buying next round no matter what, but that would have helped a little bit to just go ahead and hold on to that second gun as well. Either way, this is the second time this game that C9's made almost no real investment in a round and still somehow figured out a way to win it. And that was, of course, in round at number 2, where they won that round off of like basically 1 Deeg by Shroud and some 250 kills by Shazam. And then in that round, once again, no real investment by C9 whatsoever. They were really broke, and they had some 250s and such, but that was really about it. And like you said, they picked up a quick op on Shazam at mid. You know, we had m3ss come out a balcony, get a couple of Deeg kills in pit and in sight. And then they wound up getting 3 guns out of the deal in that post-lane situation. And now, you know, things are kind of checking back into a balance. Both teams' economy is not too great, but, you know, that was a big turnaround for C9. And now they're actually going to punish people at Banana, get a couple of kills. f&s able to hold it off for now, but things got a little bit dicey over there at B, and it keeps coming down to these early 4-on-4s.
Yeah, he got a little aggressive there, a little aggro off that initial frag. I expect him to fall off pretty quickly, but he steps up, gets the trade out, gambles a little bit. There was no one else there for C9 to ultimately trade him out, so that's a good play. But f&s, as you see, looks like Shazam goes off the board as well. So now, Counter Logic Gaming with the man advantage, as it looks like C9 is setting up for a play over at A. We've got Tarek watching from the arch side. He's flashed and tries to drop a counter molly. Just waiting for them to step up into mid. He spots one. He's going to drop an nade and fall off. Actually, he's going to hang on to it. As I think he is going to... Well, he looks like he called for the rotate. f&s can't make up his mind, though, Dust.
Yeah, it's really tough. They don't have enough information to really commit to rotation either way, and f&s doesn't want to just leave this guy by himself at B again if there's a chance they could fall back. But now they're starting to execute up truck side, so now f&s staying in position. So they're going to see nothing get a kill, and Sean Garrett's going to try to plant this smoke. He's trying to prevent it, but unable to do enough damage. And so it is going to be a 3 versus 3 with the bomb down here, and Shroud picks up another frag onto f&s. And so once again, CLG in a tough spot. They do have Hayes that still has pit control, so they can try to work something because of this, as Hayes will collect the frag there, looking for another nice one on the Shroud, and so now it's all up to Sean Garrett to try to hold it off.
Oh, Peter picks up the frag.
Yeah, nice job there from CLG. That looked really rough once again after C9 had some good, you know, work up the truck side, getting a couple of picks and getting the bomb down. But, you know, Hayes never lost control of the pit, and it's almost as if Cloud9 kind of ignored it. Like, you know, the guy at Balcony didn't even check it, so it's like a free kill for Hayes there. Then he pops off a second frag at truck side on a guy that had to do kind of a 180 to react to his kill on the balcony player. And so, yeah, maybe just a little bit of a misstep by C9 not to fully clear out pit in that post plant. And like I said, they kind of turned the blind eye to it.
Smart play by Hayes as well, because he was initially in sight, because he tried wall banging through the box and actually brought the planter down to half health. And, of course, couldn't take him out. But then he backed off behind that wall of smoke the C9 used to get in and got into pit, like you said, and ultimately did some serious damage until his teammate Peter, the cavalry, showed up and they won that round. So what looked like a surefire win for Cloud9 off the initial take ultimately goes to CLG off the retake. And this has been not just back and forth, you know, between the rounds, but within the rounds themselves. A really close game so far.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of 4-on-4s and 3-on-3s in close number situations, that's for sure. So you're spot on there. There really has been a back-and-forth game through and through. Though there were a couple of rounds that C9 had no business winning that CLG kind of let up. So this really could have been a much more dominant game from CLG if they would have just been a little bit more composed in some of these save rounds that C9 has won against them. In fact, the majority of the rounds C9 have won have been these crazy minimal investment rounds.
That smoke hazed. Oh, no, and he's going to get taken out by Shazam as a result. A little bit of a derp for Hayes there. He tried to drop a smoke in mid, actually hit the pillar. I think he giggled to himself as Shazam ultimately gets the frag. But Tarek going to try to make up for it. He sprays down 2.5 as his teammate. Oh. No, it's actually Shazam decapitates Sean m3ss from behind. Hits him with the op. Oh, that's unfortunate. Sean Garrett's now all his lonesome, and he's stranded in pit. And Peter going to make short work of him. So convincing round win for Counter Logic.
Yeah, that was a little rough. That TK there was certainly not fun to deal with. And Like I said, outside of those two kind of rounds they had no business winning, C9's really actually kind of struggled. I mean, it may not look that way because the score is decently close and we've seen some good rounds out of C9, but like I said, besides those two eco wins they have, CLG has been pretty dominant. Yeah, they may have given up a site here or there, but their retakes have been on point whenever they have actually committed to them properly. When you see another save round coming out of C9, and look at Shroud with the Glock able to get a kill there on the finesse, and are we going to see another circus round? I don't know. Tarek has a real quick flank that Cloud9 has no idea about. Look at him come in, gets the 250 kill, tries to spray down for more, but gets caught. And so Cloud9 fighting back here in another save round on a 2-on-2 now.
Such
Insane.
a quick exchange, and Banana, like you said, a fast flank by both of the defenders over at A. But ultimately, Cloud9 weathering the storm, and they got the frags that brought it to a 2-on-2. They're going to move back over to the B side. A lot is on Peter. He drops the bomb with that headshot onto Shroud. Huge frag, but Shazam with 12 HP, still up in balcony, trying to fight off Peter, pick up that bomb. But of course, Cutler is on the rotate, so Shazam knows he doesn't have a whole lot of time to work with here before it's going to be a 2-on-1 at this site.
Yeah, good play by Peter here, not over-peeking to give Shazam one-on-ones and allow his teammate to rotate through mid. Eventually, he closes it out by himself anyway, but still really smart play from Peter, really patient play. But, finally, kind of logic holding off an eco from C9. That's really been their kryptonite, actually, is losing a couple of ecos. If it wouldn't have been for that, they'd be winning this game, like 10-1 or something like that. So,
yeah, maybe Cloud9 should just stop buying guns.
No, they just need to start getting some more contribution. I mean, Sean only has one frag this entire game, so he's definitely had a rough time here. And even some of their other main entry fraggers like m3ss and hasn't really had a great game either. So it kind of comes down to that as well. Just not really getting the outside of eco rounds, they haven't done that great on the entries. I mean, they traded even the 4-on-4, but they haven't been necessarily punishing CLG's aggression at B as much as they probably should be.
Yeah, I like this early aggression, though, by CLG. They took deep banana control and got a little bit of intel, but then they fell off. As you now see the wrap coming from Cloud9, m3ss is the point man. He's going to find m3ss, who wasn't even looking at him, and turns and picks up Tarek, as Tarek actually was able to drop nothing in that exchange, but they have control of the site. But the rotate was swift and furious, so they're already in position. They brought it to a 3-on-3. This is a doable retake. We're looking from Cutler. He's trying to find him. There's at least one in the site. There's actually two in the site. His teammate Hayes is coming from library side. Peter picks up m3ss as Cutler's going to isolate the final man. It's Sean Garrett as he goes down, and a flawless retake on the 3-on-3. They don't lose any of the remaining guys. Counter Logic Gaming looking crisp there.
Yeah, they've had a lot of good retakes this game so far. That's one of them. They've had a couple other ones that were pretty solid as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's like I said, C9's actually maybe not been as sharp as you think. Yeah, they've had a couple of crazy circus eco round wins, but on gun rounds, they've really struggled to close them out. I mean, yeah, there's been a couple of rounds where they've gotten clean entries and gotten the bomb down, but they've lost almost every single retake that CLG's attempted. So that's definitely part of it. And yeah, I mean, it's really tough to say anything else other than that. I mean, CLG's just played pretty good on the CT side. Their rotations have been smart, their flanks have been quick, and their aggression at B has almost always been successful. At least an even exchange taking place every time. Like they never come down behind from this aggression at B. They usually either trade out like this, a 4-on-4, or sometimes they get the straight up kills and get away and get the advantage off of it. So
yeah, I think perhaps just a little over aggression that time from Hayes. You know, they're feeling hot. They've got a pretty comfortable lead, at least thus far in this half. But yeah, I agree. I really do like the aggression on B, and it's something that Cloud9 has had to respect thus far in this half.
And they've really done a great job as well with moving Peter around with the op. Like, he's been opping B a couple of times. Now he's in pit with the op. So they've done a great job moving him around and keeping C9 guessing where that op's going to be.
Unfortunately, FNS is going to go down to Sean Garris. That isolates Peter in pit by himself. But actually, it looks like they're wrapping. So this is allowing Tarek to get in position to support his teammate, who's the solo defender over here at A. But Sean Garris drops him as he peeks.
Yeah, Peter really needed to get at least one guy there, but misses both his shots and gets caught, and now it's a really tough situation for CLG because while they've had a lot of good retakes, it's usually been an even situation when they've gone into it. Here it's a 2-on-4, so they really don't have much of a shot, and as you can see, they're just going to go ahead and back off and save, and so now C9, that's a big round for them. They were really starting to kind of get real behind. They were on a 4-round losing streak up until this round, and they were down 9-3, so they're really starting to get into that kind of dangerous territory, but winning this round, making it 9-4, I mean, if they can win, one more round, they'll feel all right, and a couple of more wins, and they'll feel real good. So this game's certainly not, basically what I'm trying to say is CLG, while they're in a great position, they're not completely, fully ahead.
They're not out of the woods. It's just not like a foregone, successful half for them, quote unquote. Because if they do give up the final 2 rounds, they're going to be pretty disappointed in themselves given how this has gone. Because most of those wins, like you said, have been on broken buys by Cloud9 or no buys at all. Just pistols.
Right. Yeah, I mean, still half of C9's wins have come off of like some eco rounds that CLG should have really definitely done better about, avoiding, so to speak. So, yeah.
Yeah, so Cloud9 really needs to get themselves around here. They're looking to get the final 2, and it looks like they're heading towards B. No real early aggression this round from CounterLogic Gaming. They do drop a smoke off, and they have car control. f&ss in position to dodge that nade. They're all staged up in Banana. Our Cloud9 save for it looks like Shroud. He's just taking pot shots into dark over at A.
Yeah, as we are going to see C9 once again kind of bunching up here at Banana just a bit. There's still a lot of time to play around with, though, so not really 100% sure where they're going to go just yet, as CLG once again kind of their trademark early aggression at B. But this time, no real exchanges come out of it, and they kind of just back off, and it's kind of just a stalemate. And so for really the first time this game, we're going to see us get into the mid-round with both teams still having their full personnel. So kind of curious to see how that's going to pan out, as Peter this time not going to be pit. He's actually been playing arch side, peeking mid. So like I said, moving him around quite a lot. But here comes that execution here by C9. They're already up in brackets, and they're wheeling around, and Shazam will lead the way with the pick on the Peter, but Tarek hiding in the closet, able to trade it back, but Shazam quick to respond. And so once again, C9 looking to take this. It's up to Hayes and Pitt to try to hold it off.
Yeah, he does pick up one. It's looking like nothing's trying to get the trade out, but he's brought down to 3 HP, threads the needle through the truck. Wallbang shot right into Hayes' head. They do get control of the site, and look at Shazam set up to pick up Cutler. It's down to Finesse. And he's actually going to just try to back off and maybe get an exit kill. As he is staged up in Library. Spots Shazam. Does catch him with the second follow-up shot. And if he can maybe swing around and pick that up, this could be a successful save here for Ness. It looks like he might be going for that.
Yeah, he's definitely thinking about trying to come out. And nothing actually has low HP, so maybe he can catch them. He hears. I thought he heard him.
He saw him now. Oh, gets a little greedy with that peek. Probably could have finished him off with a pistol, but of course, he didn't know that he was that wounded.
Yeah, he may not have known that nothing was that wounded. I'm sure if he knew that he was that low in HP, he probably would have picked up the pistol and just tapped him out with it really quick. Either way, though, in this round, this game was looking real good for CLG. They were up 9-3. Yeah, they had lost a couple of ecos, and it could have been even worse for Cloud9 had they have not lost those rounds. It could, like I said, been like 10-1 or something like that. Could have been really bad for C9. But here, in these last 2 rounds, C9 have had some great executions. Now they're actually holding off retakes as well, which is something they struggled with earlier in the half. And now they've actually forced CLG on a broken buy to end the half. And if C9 wins this round, they have a 6-9 score. That's still really good as long as they can have a decent CT side of their own.
And look at the entries by Nothing. Comes out swinging from the balcony and takes out Peter and Hayes. His teammates are going to follow suit, get into the A site, plant for Pitt. And obviously last round of the half, the final 2 CTs do have to go for it, but they don't have a whole lot to work with. No kit. Cutler has it from Moss. He's going to step out and get 2, but Nothing is able to drop f&ss and closes out the round. That's a huge round for Nothing. That's a 4K for him, getting the final 2 after the first 2.
Yeah, that was definitely him kind of ending the half with a bang. He's been a little bit quiet this game. I know a lot of people have criticized him pretty heavily in recent times on being a player that has like this crazy potential in most people's eyes, probably one of the highest skill ceilings in the game as far as like raw aim and potential, but has never really necessarily lived up to that hype that surrounds him from 1.6 to, as he transitioned into CSGO. And he's had his moments here or there where he's looked really brilliant, and people were hoping that he would stay in that form, but then he's had his events where he's been rough. And that little play like there, little flashy plays like that, like those crazy entries dropping out of balcony, getting the quick headshots and stuff like that. It's the type of play that you see out of him that you wish he could just do all the time, so to speak.
Right.
I mean, if he could, then this C9 team would be so much more powerful. But regardless, I mean, C9...
He's got that big round capability,
Right.
And if he can just string more of them together, they can be quite the powerhouse. I agree.
Yeah, like I look back on that set he had against Virtus Pro at like the season 16 ESCA LAN where he dropped, I think, I think it was like 60-something kills or almost 70-something kills in 3 maps played against VP, and that was like probably the best set of his career in CS:GO. So yeah, if he could be, I can't expect him to always drop 20 or 30 bombs every single game, but if he could even just, you know, get to like the high teens or low 20s on a consistent basis, I mean, this team would be just insane. But regardless of that, like I said, in that half, I mean, C9 had some crazy eco wins, and then CLG really kind of slipped to let those happen. They really could have had a much more dominant half had they not have coughed those 2 rounds up. And then on top of that, C9 has played really great those last 3 rounds to bring this into a close game. And now they're leading off with the good kill there from Shazam on this pistol round. And
gets his
with
second
fadeaway. Yeah, this is real tough now for CLG. C9 looking to try to tie this thing up if they can close out this pistol round and not get ecoed in their own right.
And that's the thing, they gambled a little bit by stacking 3 initially on the pistol round over at B, but Shazam proving that's not a gamble when he could come out with the big frags from mid like that. Full confidence peeking and picking up those 2 headshots is Shazam, which really does put Counter Logic Gaming on the back foot, like you said, Dust.
Yeah, they have finesse with the smoke and a flash, so they have like one more ditch effort at trying to execute somehow. And Cutler charging up the R side, able to pick up 1, but Sean trades it right back, keeps CLG at the disadvantage, and somehow able to escape from Peter, and then gets the bomb down with the headshot. So,
and he was forced to reload in the process.
Oh man, yeah, just kind of some whiffing taking place there from CLG. And sometimes pistol rounds just kind of come down to just raw aim, in all honesty, and sometimes a little bit of luck, because these pistols can sometimes be like really crazy inconsistent when you're like running around and shooting. Like, it's just, I don't know, like it can sometimes just be kind of a
it's a toss up. Yeah, it's like you're in Vegas, you're playing craps or something,
right? But either way, this allowed C9 to really turn this game around. Like, so they were looking a little tough there when they were down like 9-3, and CLG had a real good chance to kind of crush C9 that first half. But with a couple of eco wins and closing out the half in a strong way in those last 3 rounds, and now winning the pistol, C9 are totally back in this game. They've never really been out of it. There was a little danger, but now they're certainly back into the mix here.
Yeah, certainly no worries. Perhaps now creeping worries into Counter Logic Gaming's minds is they've smoked off Arch side, trying to make a play porch, but they're just kind of stalling here as they spray through the smoke and ultimately lose 1. And no damage dealt to Cloud9 as they go with the full-on FAMAS buy across the board. Not a whole lot of utility nades to work with, and look at the massacre continues. Shazam and m3ss pick up Tarek and Peter over there in mid as the bomb slowly creeps up B. And this is a potentially smart play. Sean Garris is all on his lonesome, but it's going to be a lot of onus on this entry, Dust. As already we've got the rotate, m3ss waiting to flash in CT spawn. So realistically, they're going to have to pick up both these frags to get into B.
Yeah, and Sean's playing smart here, not overcommitting at spools, waiting for that pop flash, and he can just kind of peek for free, and he and m3ss will both come up with the kill. And that might be the biggest difference this game that could lead to C9 winning if they keep this up, is really they're not succumbing to the ecos of CLG, whereas CLG really kind of, like I said, kind of handed some rounds to C9 on a silver platter by giving them rounds where C9 invested like nothing into it.
And not only that, they won it without, flawlessly. And that's huge for your economy on CT side to build up when you need to come from behind and square this up at 9-9.
It might honestly be like 2 or 3 rounds in the first half that might have decided this game, unless, CLG come out firing on all cylinders on their gun rounds.
Yeah, still a lot to be said. We'll have to wait for Counter Logic Gaming to get guns in their hands, as they have pretty much gone with the full-on save. 3 of them have Glocks, the rest with a couple of pistols, a couple of P250s. As they're staged up in Banana, looking to make a play at the 2 players here, Sean Garris and m3ss. Again with the FAMASs, let's see if they can hold here. It's going to be a 5-man rush. It's going to be swift. It's going to be furious. No rotate called for yet from Cloud9. Here comes the execute.
Yeah, Sean in the back here, triple, able to cop a couple of frags, a nice molly doing a lot of damage, and Sean looking like he might come up with the quad kill, and he does. And like I said, Cloud9 just doing a much better job on the anti-eco rounds, not falling prey to the pistols of CLG, as in the reverse, that's something CLG struggled with. So here we are going to see the opening gun round, though, and now it's a tie game at 9-9. It's anyone's game, really, and it's just going to be up to CLG to see if they can have some successful executions like C9 did towards the end of the first half, or whether or not C9 is going to kind of prove to us that they've brushed up on their CT side and have some better defense, because that's really been kind of their biggest issue in recent times.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how Counterlogic fares just in general on T-side, because we saw Cloud9 pretty successful with getting plants, but a lot of good retakes by Counterlogic Gaming in the previous half. Exactly. So it'll be up to them to do a better job than their opponents did in holding the plants that they do get, because at this point it really is at a premium once you get control of the site. And look at the stack. 4 for Cloud9 over at A, and of course leaving a lot on the shoulders of, I think that's Sean Garris over at B by himself.
And that's cool because m3ss was able to throw these smokes from arcs that still block off Banana, so it's almost as if there's like a second guy there able to refresh that smoke, and that's how you're able to cheat guys over like this. You keep that smoke up on the truck point of B, you know that the terrorists have to wait for that to go away before they can safely execute, so now that smoke starts to dissipate, now you start seeing them fall a guy back over towards B. But soon they'll rotate him right back because they know this execution's taking place here at mid as we see Finesse and company working their way up the truck side, but there's a double pit set up here from Shroud and Nothing, and they're just waiting patiently in the shadows, and Shroud steps out with some big kills there. It's 3, and C9 are just playing so excellent here on the CT side so far. They've yet to drop around. They won a pistol. They avoided the ecos where CLG could not, and then they win the opening gun round to force another save out of CLG. So C9, you know, taking the lead for the first time this game, and have a chance to extend it by another here in this round with the save coming out of CLG.
And since the pistol, I don't think they've lost more than one player each round, which has obviously done wonders for their economy. You got Shroud over 8K, you got Sean Garris over 7, Shazam at 5.9, and he's rocking the AWP, so really doing well on the economic front. Is Nothing getting aggressive, steps out a little over aggressive there, re-peeks it, and Tarek obviously makes him pay for it with that P250 headshot, but they're not in a position to collect this gun, so they're going to refocus their efforts over at the B site.
Yeah, and m3ss and Sean smartly kind of back off here and get ready for the execution as Sean has this pop flash ready here. And he's going to go ahead and get himself back in triple, but the execution's coming, and m3ss actually kind of fell back, but Son's still here. Good molly, good FAMAS play. Able to hold off this execution really well. Gets the bomb down. Now m3ss has stepped back in. He'll step up with the AK. He'll deliver a frag there. And now Hayes in a 1 versus 3 with a Deagle and a Dream and real low HP, and the nade will eventually finish him out there. So C9 actually capitalizing on rounds you should win, these eco rounds, and that's like I said, that might wind up being the biggest difference in this game between these two teams, and that could be what's really the difference between C9 winning and not winning, to be honest.
Yeah, realistically, I mean, the momentum has clearly swung in Cloud9's favor. When we said early on, I mean, it wasn't like they were in trouble, but it was a point where they had a couple of key rounds where they forced it up and they had to win them, and they did. So they've capitalized on their gambles, and they've won some of those circus rounds, like you said, in the first half, which may be the difference in this game, as it looks like they're focusing on a fast execute over at the A side. As Nothing is going to step out and get traded out by Hayes, who gets himself a huge 2-piece. Shroud finally drops Hayes, drops a nade and backs off. FNS comes out swinging, and Shroud is able to pick him up as well, putting on a huge stand. But Peter, the last man for the terrorist, has the bomb and is backing out of the A side. He's got a lot of time on the clock, but this is going to be tough with the AWP to make a play here.
Yeah, and the other big difference besides Cloud9 handling ecos better, the other real big difference, as we're going to see m3ss probably catch a free kill on Peter here, and he will, but the other real big difference has been that, you know, even when C9 were losing rounds in the first half on T-side, at least they were executing it in the bomb down. I don't even think CLG's gotten a bomb plant this half. Am I wrong? But I can't remember one. Like, they're not even able to. I think
you're right, actually.
They haven't even really been able to get into the site. So, yeah, while C9 had a tough time on T side in the majority of the first half up until those last 3 rounds, at
most of the rounds they were getting plants, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas I've yet to see CLG even get into a position to plant the bomb this entire half. And granted, they've only had 2 gun rounds so far to do it because they haven't been able to get anything going on their eco rounds. They're losing pistol, but you know, they've had 2 gun rounds so far. They got kind of a third one going on here, a little bit broken by, but still something to work with. And they got to eventually make something happen. They're already down by 3 rounds. They got to eventually figure something out in these executions. They're not really getting anything done. And I know Shazam's been moving around with that op quite a lot and shutting them down here or there. You know, m3ss and Sean have done a great job at Banana thus far, you know, holding off those executions. So, yeah, I mean, CLG just need to figure something out that works on their T side.
And this is likely the backbreaker round as Shazam opens it up with that shot onto Cutler. Playing that aggro op is they got the 4-stack again going at A with Sean Garris all in his lonesome as being Counterlogic playing right into the stack's hands. And it's just one of those things, like you said, Dust, the fact that they haven't been able to even get plants has just broken their economy. So they haven't been able to rebuy much, and Cloud9 has handled the saves with just flawlessness. As here you see the execute onto Arch side. They got good smokes out. Pick up the trade out onto m3ss, who was in the cubby position, but they've stalled here as they've got one taking pot shots through the smoke at Shazam and Library, and they've got two in pit. So Cloud9 doing a good job of weathering the storm, and Nothing and Shroud combined to just execute the final three players almost simultaneously.
Yeah, it's just tough. Like I said, CLG's T side has just been kind of abysmal. They haven't really been able to do anything. That round, they actually made some leeway of Arch, you know, getting that smoke on Library and getting a pick on the guy Closet and actually kind of working on something. But Nothing and Shroud have consistently been playing this like double pit setup in the late round, and CLG's had such a tough time contesting it. And we've seen early aggression from C9 at Banana almost all the time, and it almost always works, except for this round. m3ss actually finally gets the pick here at B, and this could finally be the difference maker that CLG needs to get something going. They've yet to really have an early round advantage, and they finally found themselves one here at this early aggression at Banana. That didn't pay off so far for C9, so we'll see if they can, you know, use this to make something happen.
Yeah, and obviously they were put into a position where they kind of had to buy up whatever they could get, and it's not a whole lot. They got a couple of AKs, a Galil, and two Rec 9s, which is maybe the third best rifle in the game, taking the CZ's place before it got nerfed and then rebuffed. But like you said, that's a huge opening frag for them. It gives them a lot of opportunities to kind of feint Cloud9 into drawing a rotate, maybe get them into a stack at A again. But now they've got the 2-on-2 and they're going with 4 men towards B.
Because the biggest thing is since they've lost out on B, like they always allow C9 to over-rotate to A without being punished for it. But in this time they had the early pick B, they're going to try coming again. But once again, these counter mollies out of C9 have been such well timed. They've done so much damage. And while they do have a man advantage, they have very low HP. And the retake coming in from C9, and Nothing through the smoke catches Tarek. And so now it's a 3-on-3. C9 still looking to see if they can retake in here. m3ss going to be over towards Banana. But we got two guys coming up the spools. We got one guy at main. It's going to be Shroud. He's going to kind of look for something. Finds a kill on the Cutler at the dark spot. Spots m3ss at Banana. So it's up to Hayes at triple to really try to hold off this retake. And he's doing a fine job so far. Gets two. But Shroud gets him. And now it's a 1-on-1. A great pop flash. Catches m3ss solo. Will he get to defuse? It looks like he will.
Oh, what a play by Shroud. Are you kidding me? That pop flash, the perfect timing. Welcome to the clutch.
Ouch.
Nice try.
And that's the first time that CLG has actually had a favorable execution. Like, they got the opening pick at B early in the round. They didn't allow themselves to get traded back. They were able to work their way into B later in the round. Yeah, Strong's able to get kind of one kill there from the triple area, but eventually, you know, CLG got into that 4-on-3 with the bomb down. But unfortunately, Nothing catches a great spam through the smoke to get one kill, and then Shroud has played lights out in that clutch situation. Like you said, getting that kill at dark spot, getting the kill at triple, and then, you know, just throwing a greatly timed flash to catch m3ss right as he tries to peek while Shroud started the defuse, and that pretty much won the round was that flashbang, as well as some great kills from Shroud.
Very nice opening frag by Shazam. Through the wall there is Shroud picks up another frag, and actually I'm going to test your CSGO knowledge a little bit, Dust.
Okay.
Do you remember the ace that Shroud had on Nuke against Netcode Guides?
I do not.
Oh, man. You got it.
Yeah, I do.
And the last play was a flash, and you know who it was against? It was against m3ss. So that's the second time he's gotten him with that very, not the exact same flash, but a clutch flash to pick up the clutch round. As Cloud9 looks like they're going to steamroll to the closing victory. It looks like CLG going to have to buy up whatever they can, not a whole lot. Hayes, well, they're doing okay. They're doing better than they did in the previous round where they were relegated to some Tech 9s, but they got 3 Galils and a couple of AKs and plenty of nades to work with. But obviously do or die at this point for CLG, and it's a long road ahead if they want to get to overtime.
I mean, they have to win 6 rounds in a row, a feat they have not even come close to accomplishing because they haven't even won a round yet this half. So, yeah, very unlikely at this point. CLG just seem to be kind of, like I said, they've only had one, I think they've only had one bomb plant this half, that last one we just saw in the last round. So,
just smothering defense by Cloud9, but Tarek opening up the round onto Sean Garris as Nothing gets the shot through the smoke onto Cubby. Big time frag is, it looks like m3ss on the rotate is going to pick up m3ss. Beautiful play there fluid rotations by Cloud9. They've got them actually sandwiched, but that nade from Cutler, the bank shot, Kobe is able to connect to nothing, trying to control his spray while moving. Ultimately has to back off to Arch side, but it's a 3-on-3, and Hayes with the headshot. Actually, not a headshot, but looks like he got it through the corner of the wall there. Onto Shroud, but nothing. Steps out from Moto and picks up Peter to bring it back to a 2-on-2.
No one has HP on CLG. This is rough.
And so a round that looked so winnable that they opened up early is now looking like it's in dire straits. They got 30 seconds on the clock, but they do get the bomb planted. Shazam going to connect on the Cutler to bring it now to a 2-on-1, and it's going to be up to a Hayes, who's actually able to drop nothing, bring it to a 1-on-1, and Shazam going to finish him off with the pistol with the headshot, adding insult to injury, and Cloud9 will win it 16-9.
Yeah, this is a really simple one to break down. I mean, when you look at the first half of the game, you did see, for the most part, CLG have a good half. At least early on, you know, there was a point where they were ahead like 9-3, and that's a pretty decent position to be in, especially if you can kind of close out the end of the half. But there was those 2 key rounds where C9 invested literally nothing into the round. The first one being like round number 2 because they got that first round bomb plant, so obviously they invested nothing second round because they're expecting the full buy in the third. But they still somehow won that round. You know, you have Shroud get a crazy 1-dig, Shazam with a crazy 1-tap 250 shot at B, and all of a sudden they win themselves second round off of like no investment. And there was another round even later on where they did pretty much the same thing, had like almost no investment in the round because of a poor economic situation, still pull a round out. And that's how they get to that 9-3 scenario when it really could have been more like 10-1, 11-1 type score instead. So that was the first, you know, kind of issue with CLG there. And then of course, this Cloud9 comes up big in the last 3 rounds. They actually execute well, and then they close the round out because we kind of talked about how, you know, C9 didn't have a lot of trouble executing it in the bomb, and they just, you know, had some troubles holding off CLG retakes.
Yeah.
But those last 3 rounds, they were able to, you know, weather that storm, hold off the retake, you know, use execution to their advantage and actually close the round out.
And then they got the economy on their side towards the end of the half as well, where they started to force, you know, CLG onto some broken buys where they were fighting from behind constantly.
Yeah, absolutely right. So that's how you get to 9-6. You know, a couple of mistakes from CLG on some save rounds, and then just some better post-plant holds out of Cloud9 in the last 3 rounds of the half, and that's how you get to 9-6. And then, you know, you get over into the second half, and C9 has no struggles on ecos. You know, they win the pistol, they win the next 2, they get it tied up 9-9, they win the opening gun round, and they just never looked back.
They did them all convincingly. I think the first 3, they only lost 1 in each of them.
They allowed
and then
one
in the gun round,
plant.
I think they lost 2. Yeah, 1 bomb plant the entire second half in a flawless second half where they didn't give up a round. I mean, that says a lot in a team that we were kind of questioning their CT side to start this game.
Yeah, of course, like they've always been known as being like a stronger T side team, and that's how they've won a lot of their games, is by just doing well on the T side and doing well enough on CT to win a game. But yeah, they've mostly been kind of a T-sided team, to be honest. But yeah, in that game, you know, they did a great job moving Shazam around with the op, kind of getting these aggressive peeks in window and boiler and just kind of moving him around. They also did this double pit setup late in rounds on CT side with nothing and Shroud. That was really good, kind of prevented CLG from getting any real safe control of that A bomb site. And then another real big thing is they were able to cheat rotations to A so well, and the reason being is because, you know, they would get that initial 1-on-1 trade to get into a 4-on-4 over at the B side of the map, and then you got, you know, c3ss throwing smokes from Arch side mid to, you know, re-smoke Banana so that he can like cheat over to A. And
yeah, they stacked 4-1 several rounds.
Yeah, and the reason why you can do that is because you're holding off any type of play from CLG early in the round at Banana by like contesting it with some counter nades and counter flashes, and even at times you saw, you know, people peek out and get kills and then fall back. And not only that, but, you know, these smokes last quite a long time. And if you're able to throw a smoke from Arch side mid that smokes Banana, you've just now killed another, you know, quite a good amount of time off the clock while you're at A for B. You see what I'm saying? So they never had to really worry about rotating a guy back to B from A until that smoke started to dissipate. But a lot of times they didn't have to because CLG was already starting to commit to an A hit to where that guy never had to go back to B. And so that was another big issue there. was just, the way they control the B side of the map allowed them to only have to leave one guy there, and so they had these crazy 4-man stacks a day all the time. And like I said, that double pit setup from Shroud of Nothing was huge. CLG never could really break that open. And like I said, Shazam was just all over the place with the op, being aggressive in window and elsewhere, and just getting picks left and right. And it was just a dominant CT side from Cloud9. They, like I said, they allowed one bomb plant the entire half. So that was just a staunch defense, and CLG just never came up with something that worked outside of that one execution at B, which they probably should have won. I mean, Shroud got a crazy clutch there that he probably shouldn't have been able to get, and that obviously hurt even more. But I mean, overall, dominant CT side from C9, and then winning some crazy ecos in the first half from their T side, and closing out strong in those final 3 rounds in the first half as well, and that's how you see C9 win the game, pretty much.
Yeah, really nicely done by Cloud9. I was thoroughly impressed. We've got the stats up on the screen, and I think one of the biggest standouts to me is twofold. Of course, Shazam again leading them on the leaderboard. 17 FE, 109 ADR, almost a 2.0 KDR, but nothing up there at second at 23 and 15. Mm-hmm. I mean, you talked about how he has that big game capability, and right. he really stepped up in some pretty big rounds, especially that 4K on T side where he came storming out of apartments and picked up those 2 entry kills. Now, granted, a lot of that was kind of played into his hands because they weren't really looking his direction, but he hit the shots, particularly the second one on the guy on porch. And he had some big rounds and just a big game overall, and I'd like to see more of that from Nothing going on into the season and playoffs, obviously.
Yeah, like I said, that was just convincing victory for C9. Like I said, it started off with a couple of eco rounds that they won that were just, like I said, just like fumbles from CLG, and then, like I said, closing out strong with those final 3 rounds to make it 9-6. That put them in a great position. Then they didn't struggle on ecos at all. They held them off. They only allowed 1 bomb plant, just a staunch defense across the board on both sides of the map. And, just like I said, a crazy good CT side from C9. And CLG just kind of, like I said, made a couple of fumbles there on some ecos and couldn't get anything done on their T side. And then there you have it. That's it. It's the ball game.
Yeah, so kind of an impressive statement just in general, I think, with the kind of the landscape of North American CS with Counter Logic Gaming, that up-and-coming team that we thought was trying to establish themselves as number 2, maybe number 1 team in Cloud9, who we had mentioned maybe might be on the fall-off. But a convincing win against Counter Logic Gaming tonight obviously draws some questions into that conversation. So looking forward to seeing hopefully these guys face off again in the future, maybe in the playoffs, as I imagine they both are likely playoff-bound teams. But we got to let the games decide that. But that's all for us tonight. Again, we're not sure what has gone on with the previous matchup. Again, that was Counter Logic Game against Torque. I think they're trying to reschedule it for tomorrow night, but I'm not fully sure about that. Obviously, just stay tuned to CEVO.com or even CSGO Lounge. We'll keep you updated on what's going on with that match.
Yeah, I really hope that does get rescheduled. I mean, I know it can be tough to have to constantly reschedule matches every single time that there's like an issue with a player or something like that, but I hope they can at least give that game another shot before they have to call a forfeit conclusion.
I agree.
But either way, yeah, at least we were able to kind of, after a lot of struggles and hardship, we were at least able to pull off one pretty cool match for you guys between CLG and C9.
That was exciting. I mean,
yeah, it was a little bit more of a blowout than I expected. I thought that game would be much closer than it was, but like I said, just C9 doing just enough there towards the end of the first half to put themselves in striking distance to win the game, and then just having a stonewall CT side.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean,
it
was exciting up to the point where they got that 4th round, and then they put their foot on the gas and didn't look back.
Pretty much, man. But other than that, we really appreciate all of you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed yourself. We know it was definitely a tough start to the night with all the different issues with that first game, but at least we were able to kind of get you a good quality game between C9 and CLG to close the night off. And, of course, we're going to be bringing you matches, all month long and all throughout the rest of this year, pretty much always casting at least one match a night, Sunday through Thursday, usually 2 or more. So definitely just hit that follow button on Twitch if you have not already to catch, all the CEVO pro games, as well as some of the amateur games as well here over at Play CEVO. You can also follow us casters if you want to. Our names are right below, but also our links are now in the chat. So if you want to give us a follow, we'll definitely keep you up to date on social media and what's going on. You can also send me messages or send all of us really messages on Twitter or email or whatever with your criticisms or things you'd like to see us change or improve on.